Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018 Career Mode, episode 29, and looking like it'll be the final episode as we should be moving on to F1 2019 and getting our first ever chance to race in the F2 category, opening that one up. And look for something similar with a Road to Glory series from a now far distant Williams, well below the other teams, along with a couple other rival drivers to come up with us out of the F2 category. New rival, after winning both rivalries last time out, we pick up Pierre Gasly, not in the Red Bull, but the other Red Bull, Toro Rosso. We have 4 parts in R&D that will all be done as soon as this race is over, so 4 new parts coming out of the car, but not available this week. The engine upgrade was supposed to be ready, but it failed. It will be 100% next week, and the others are all 100% as the engine is the only area where I don't have all risk eliminated. I have new parts on the car, a new gearbox in the car after the gearbox problem last time, and we are at the Hungaroring in Hungary. Bit of a difficult circuit, not the easiest one, and I'm actually going to have to rely on my setup from last season, even though the car's changed quite a bit since last season. Reason for it was you could see that qualifying and race are supposed to be dry conditions. Unfortunately, practice was anything but dry. It rained, and then it kind of let off towards the end, so I got a few dry-ish laps in, and then in practice session number 2, similar. It rained, and then it dried out for a little bit. I got a few dry laps in on a low grip surface, wasn't anything great, just enough to kind of get comfortable with the car. Not pass the practice programs as their demands for dry are full dry, high grip when the track wasn't that, and so I got almost no R&D points. And then practice 3, it just downpoured the entire time, so I didn't even run a lap in practice 3. Hence the notice about you didn't participate. Boo-hoo! You're not going to get any points. Well, I've got a dry setup, and you want me to run on a wet track, right? And there's no point doing the wet setup because we've got a dry qualifying and race. Speaking of, let's go ahead and jump into qualifying. I feel like I'm off the pace. I feel like I'm way off the pace. I think I can navigate this race, hopefully, and stay in one piece. That is my ultimate goal, is a major mistake-free weekend, as in free of any major mistakes. Minor stuff, yeah, okay, whatever. But I want to try to survive this race weekend and not be way at the back and have to pit and put on a new wing.
That eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
And yes, I'm getting a lot of tyre wear, I noticed in practice. Alright, well, let's check the weather first and foremost, and it is dry. It is dry. That's good. That's very good. Let's hope that those parts are actually changed when I get out there on the car, otherwise I'm screwed. We'll see, it still says pending. The event gearbox still says pending as well. Well, qualifying, we should have the event gearbox in for the qualifying. Oh man, don't you screw me like that. Don't you screw me like that. Hopefully we're okay. Good to go. Because here comes Park Firm A.
It's pretty quiet out on track. We should consider getting out there. All complete. Mechanics, please stand clear. We're ready to go.
Alright, well, here's our first chance. We're going to get out there, do what we can. Get out there, find a little bit of space, try to warm things up. Looks a little dusty in front of me here. Back off a little bit from the Force India / Racing Point, as it will be named in the future. And as for in the second year of the career mode, it should be named that now. As technically we're in this year, but yes, this doesn't feel too bad. I mean, I'm not pushing. I'm just cruising along here, and I'm not losing them. Should have the car sufficiently warmed up here. And now I've definitely got enough of a gap, so we'll get on with the program. Hit that exit hard. Try to get a little bit more of a run to start the lap. So what I have here setup-wise and car-wise is something that lacks power. I can get around the corners okay-ish. So what I'm expecting is going to end up happening with this lap is I'm going to be near the back. I just don't have enough power to really be competitive. I can handle this car, and I think I can get through the race, but I just don't think I have the pace to ultimately beat these guys head to head. And you see, I'm not taking a perfect line by any means. I am fighting the car a little bit here, at least, as I'm trying to push for qualifying, but much better penultimate corner this time than I had in the practice lap, though, as that's where I started to push it. A little weak through there. I definitely could have been faster through that final corner. 5th of 5 so far. I'm half a second off the pace. Half a second to who? I don't know. But we're going to jump back into the garage and see where that puts us.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:19.6.
Oh, there you go. Okay, power unit, gearbox, both looking good. New everything for this race. As there's nothing else to wait for. Like I said, I think we're going to have the F1 2019 series starting after this episode here. So, we're not the slowest, but I would imagine Van Doren's going to go faster, and that's kind of what I'm in for. I mean, I'm just not quite there on this track. So I think I'm going to be racing near the back, and there's no point fighting it. We're just going to run some time. I'm not last anyway. I'm 18th. I'm not far behind my teammate. It's about 4/10 ahead of me. I am down to last now, though, and team's not going to be happy with that, but whatever. I'm not even going to take a second lap here. Though Sirach can just put in a heck of a lap to go top 10. But I'm just going to ready myself for the day. I'm going to have a slow, casual start in the back, take it easy for a couple laps until things open up, and then start to try to make my moves. So eliminated in Q1 and not fretting about it.
Obviously, I expected a better session, but these things happen from time to time. Try to make up for it in the race.
Last year I took 15th here, and that was still a few races before I got the wheel. So this is a really hard race on a gamepad. It is much easier, this race, on the wheel. So I'm feeling confident about that. But let's not wait anymore. Let's head into the race. It's Sunday. We're heading to the Hungaroring in Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring. A popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races in 2014 and 2015 as well. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaroring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7-mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Now I want to ask you about Valtteri Bottas. They need to win in order to stay in contention for the title. Anything outside of that, and their fate is no longer in their hands.
The key now will be to keep in the right mindset. We've seen time and again that things go wrong if you just try and do the minimum. Not necessarily because of the pressure, but because it's different to your usual approach. They'll need to avoid that and stay focused today.
7 points separate the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship, and we'll kind of have a mini final result of that at the end of this race.
Perfect lap yesterday sees him start from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside.
2 Ferraris on top, Raikkonen third place in the points, on pole.
Daniel Ricciardo and
Alonso in
Hulkenberg,
third.
Ocon, Leclerc, Grosjean,
Funny.
and Sergei Sorokin.
Sorokin squeezing into the top 10.
Carlos
Good for him.
Sainz and Ericsson, Gasly, Perez, Max Verstappen and Brendan Hartley,
Whoa.
Bottas and the Professor.
Max in
Now
17th
it's
and
almost time
Bottas
to
in
lights out,
19th.
so let's go down to the track.
What the heck happened to those two?
We need to be doing better than this. Let's push hard.
Alright, so we're looking at just 5 laps on Ultras. Maybe 6. Looks like we could do about 6. So let's switch. 12 laps here. Ultras there. So we're going to start on the softs. We're going to try to take it easy through the first few laps. That is my ultimate objective. Just ride it out, even if I'm in 20th. Just ride it out, stay in one piece, and then start pushing. So I'm looking for low fuel, slow start, just keep it in one piece. And let's see what happens when I drive patiently. Something I haven't done enough of of late. Push things too hard, too often. Now, if I'm going to push more towards the end, that means I could use some extra fuel as well. I don't mind being heavy early on. So we'll go with an extra lap worth of fuel, and I think that should cover it. So we're going to head back down here to the race start, and let's go racing. I've got a fast Mercedes to my left, so I think I'm going to try to tuck in behind him early on, and then just kind of keep my distance. It's a tight first corner that's probably going to back the field up quite a bit. So I'm going to take a pretty casual approach to the start. At least I'm telling myself I will. Do you believe me? Can I actually do it, or will I just push and go? We'll see. We'll see. But we are ready to go racing. We're going to put up 5 red lights here at the Hungaroring. Patience, patience, patience is a virtue. Oh, the red light's coming so dang fast. Lights went out quick. Little heavy on the gas anyway. Already puts me behind. Kind of naturally, and then I'm not flat out. So there you go. I did it. Now we got to see. Coast in here. And casually through. It's 3 wide ahead of me. Verstappen, Bottas, both getting squeezed. Now what I did not want was a bad exit, which is what I had. But things will be strung out for a while, especially here through another tight second corner. And kind of close things right back down. Not the button I was looking for on that one. To make my adjustments when I get a chance as things straighten out a little bit. There we go.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the
Save
race.
some fuel. Through this tight chicane. I'm in one piece. Hey, it's amazing. Yes, I'm off the pace, but not too worried about it. Not now, anyway. Later I'll worry about pace. Which I could almost start worrying about now. It looks like things have opened up in front of me. They finally got strung out enough that the pace is starting to pick up here. Raikkonen fastest, which means he did lead us across the line as he started from pole. Alright, DRS backed off, fuel's kind of back to normal. Did a little bit of fuel saving on that first lap, and now it's essentially go time. Thought I was going to have to back off for a few laps, but now it's, can I find any pace to get up there and be competitive, or am I just really off the pace, as it actually did seem like I was during qualifying and practice. Too much work to get a setup last season that was drivable. And remember, because of the practice being soaking wet, but the race and qualifying being dry, I barely got any laps in on the dry, and they were very much in low grip conditions. So here we are going racing with last year's setup at a time where I was less sure of my skills driving. I was really struggling with this track because I was still on the gamepad.
Available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone.
So I have a car that's easy to drive, but I think I've taken a lot of pace out of it. So I think I have one that's focused a little too heavily on the aero, and then I have a car that is, what, the worst engine? Second to worst engine on the grid. So my teammate Sorokin has figured out how to drive this thing, and I have not.
The car behind has come in. They're now on the soft tyre. Softs.
Somebody
car
hit.
behind.
Ricardo pit? That's Ricardo not in a Renault, that's Ricardo still in Red Bull. So I've got a Red Bull right in front of me in Max Verstappen, still in P18. And I'm almost keeping pace with him. But that's now one behind me. And he's way back. For now. Wide through there, didn't quite scrub off enough speed. Okay, so fuel's holding steady. ERS is doing fine. I can actually turn that up a little bit for now. See if we can't close these guys down at least a little bit. I feel like I could at least race 18 laps in this car, which is
+1.
good.
Faster engine modes are available.
Don't need all that extra ERS through this area. Need to just start using it on the straight and then turning it back down. That'd be a smart thing to do. Well, I haven't lost sight of these guys, at least. I'm just not quite competitive, though. Okay, so we turn it up before this final corner. Push through here.
We're trailing our teammate by 7.3 seconds.
And turn it back down before we head into the first turn. Or maybe I wait till after the second turn. Yeah, turn it down here. Makes more sense. Keep the ERS for 2 turns. Just consistently, lap by lap. Oh. Okay, well there goes our first of 2, and that was totally my bad. I was thinking about settings, thinking about Ricardo, and then ended up overshooting the inside of that corner. So, here we go. That's a curve you've got to stay off of. Have to, 100%. So there is a wasted first flashback. I'm gonna get one more for the race.
Deployment. It's time to use some of this charge.
Don't think I'm gonna need the other one if I drive smart. Which, yeah, messing with settings on the dash is something pros have to do all the time. Something I'm not very good at doing. Yeah, I overshoot the turn because I don't set it up to hot lap beforehand. Ooh, there's Hamilton. Oh gosh, that's not good. Let him go by. His exits from the corners is so much better than mine. Let's see how much faster, how much better Hamilton is. Made in the pits. Remember, I'm on the slower tire now.
Sergey
faster.
is in the pits. Sergey in the pits. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
What would I change strategy to? a little closer. Alonso behind me. I'm in 4th place right now, by the way. I might be the only car on this strategy. Makes me feel a little bit better about being slow early on. And as the field spreads out more and more, some cars could get held up. And goes Alonso by to my inside. Wow, he just parked it in the corner in front of me. I had to back off, did not hit him. Getting a lot of wash from him. I don't want to actually be too close here. Cut the corner too much. Oh, and I still tried to recover from it, but I still got the warning. I just about had my wheels to the edge.
Let's turn up the ERS deployment and burn some of this energy.
Leclerc behind me. That's in the Sauber still this season. So he's all the way up in P6. So great drive by him. Showing why he belongs in that Ferrari that he's in real life this year. He's clearly got more pace than I do, so this is not something I want to contest a position. Yeah, it's not the OP driver in Alonso or the OP car in the Mercedes of Hamilton, but Leclerc, a fantastic driver and a car that's clearly better than mine, so when the time comes and he's got a move on me, I will allow him to get by. I'm not trying to just instantly concede it though, I just about did there. Go to the inside, let him have the outside, and there he goes. Ooh. Overcooks the brakes there a bit. Curb. I want the curb. Lap 10. I pit in 2 more laps, and I will be much happier when I do. For one, tire wear is low right now. Ricardo has caught me finally. He was the first one to pit.
That's us down a place.
It was the worst place for Ricardo to come at me like that because that was my best corner. The only corner that I actually gained time on. Right now, I'm not trying to drive defensively, but I'm getting a lot of bad air from Ricardo. And then I'm under pressure from Hulkenberg as well. So I'm not meaning to drive defensively right now. I'm just trying to keep this car in one piece and still have a little bit of pace while I'm at it. Oh, that was my rear end. Somebody just got in my gearbox. one more lap till I pit, and I've got a whole slew of cars behind me. And I'm feeling the pressure. Starting to get forced into mistakes here. That and the tire wear. Feeling the both of them.
We're a +1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1. In this lap, push now. Gap to teammate behind is 9.1 seconds.
Keeping things up to try to keep the position for now. There's too many cars behind me to really just let Hulkenberg get by. So this is one that I'm actually defending. And I'm trying to get a good in-lap while I'm at it.
Box this lap, please.
That was not a gearbox issue. That was a my shifting issue. Okay, let's turn you back down.
Release.
Good stop. Good stop for the team. 2.3 seconds. And
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit.
back down to last place where I was before the pits, but I feel like I'm as far back as I was. Or I'm right as far back as I was. Either way, it's worked out, more or less. And I have the good tires now to go the distance. So let's see if I can go get somebody here. Stoffel Van Dorn would be the first. Marcus Ericsson in front of him. That's McLaren and a Sauer. Two drivers not present in the field anymore
5 laps of fuel remaining.
this season in real life. I think that they're both in Formula E. I think they are. I know Van Dorn is. He's the most popular driver in Formula
Okay,
1.
gap ahead
Formula
is
E.
2.5 seconds.
Only 2.5 seconds down. That's not bad. That is not bad. See if I'm cut back on that at all. Put the overtake here for a little bit, but oof. See, mess with the dash. I have a really hard time, and there's only one long straight here, so it's really hard to make much use of it. Oh yeah, I'm catching these guys fast. I'm catching them fast. I might not finish in last place. Just drove patiently, comfortably, smartly. Waiting till the end of the race to make my move. Remember, I've been the slowest car the entire race weekend. But But now, here in the race, pulling it together, consistent, made one mistake the whole time, and I used my flashback on that one mistake. And that was a dashboard issue. I was messing with the settings.
Increase ERS deployment. It's time to use some of this charge. Gap to teammate ahead is 6.9 seconds.
Got Van Dorn.
Great maneuver. You made it look easy.
Fuel turned back down. Still need to get the ERS turned down here. Oh! Ah, there goes the second one.
What happened?
I missed the brake point. I was too close to his gearbox and I didn't see it. Luckily I have one more left and we'll use it right there. Might be a little too far back here.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
Next lap.
Some information
Next lap.
on Van Dorn. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Oh, now Van Dorn has a problem. After I passed him, by the way. After.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Wide through that chicane. I'm within a second. Why didn't I get DRS? I must have still been behind at the detection zone. Oh, that is so lame. I thought for sure I was going to get him this lap. Lap 17. I'm just a couple tenths down and yet nothing. Ooh, Ricardo's out of the race. There's going to be one position.
Yellow flag. Okay, clear.
Really sloppy through there. Where's that detection zone?
Our gap behind is 7.4 seconds.
There it is.
This is your final lap of the race.
Final lap, That was my best chance to get past Ericsson. It looks like it's not going to happen. P18? Are we destined for P18? Sebastian Vettel has won the race, which means our mini championship, but not quite full year, but not quite full season. If it ends here, it ends with Vettel as champion. He was leading the championship by 2 points over Lewis Hamilton. The Mercedes is well below the Ferrari here in terms of quality in game this season. So Hamilton does a really good job to keep it close, but he's not going to be able to do enough. Oh, I get the ERS this time, but not enough to overtake Ericsson. It's still a really good race. Totally clean. I made 2 mistakes on a couple corners, but outside of that, a completely clean race. Somebody hit my gearbox, but otherwise I kept it clean, and I'll take that. That's a minor victory for me. I drive patiently, I drove better, but I still was the slow Williams at the back of the field. At least I beat 1 car head-to-head on the track. Almost got Ericsson, but those tires were starting to come to an end. Their life, that chance to pass Ericsson was definitely a couple laps ago.
So here they
Leclerc
come now,
with a great
out
finish
onto
in
the
5th
podium.
place for
Wherever
him.
you go, anywhere in the world, the
We know
prancing
Ricardo
horse
was missing
flags
from the
are
top
dominant in
6.
the grandstands, and they're out in force again today.
There you
It's
go.
Ferrari
Vettel, Raikkonen,
on the top
Hamilton,
step
top
once more.
3. See if Hamilton does enough to hang on to 2nd place at least in the drivers. With Raikkonen charging hard and doing well consistently, not far behind. Bottas way off the pace in comparison to his teammate.
And after this round of the World Championship,
Oh, and
here's how things
Sorokin
look in the
qualifies
drivers'
10th, but it
It's
can
a
only
good
manage
result
14th.
for
He still
Sebastian
never
Vettel, who moves
managed to score
further
any
ahead.
points. Pierre Gasly, though.
Moving
Whoa,
on to the
8th place,
driver
4
of the
points
day
scored
then.
for him.
Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
That's got to be the flying fin. Wait, how many flying fins have we had now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time.
Bottas.
Just great raw speed.
No.
And a good job
He
of
only got to
track as well.
11th.
And now let's
I know he
take a
went
look at
from
the
19th,
constructors'
but
standings.
I'd give it to Gasly
Ferrari
for
extend their
getting
lead
in
at
the
top
top
of the
10,
championship.
getting 8th
There was
place
also
from
a strong
15th.
showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us
Verstappen
next time
only got to
for
12th
another
himself.
thrilling installment
So,
of this
actually,
Formula One season.
that makes my drive feel a little bit better that Bottas Verstappen only got that far up. You know, I'm not that far down from these guys. 16 seconds behind? So I hung with him for a good while. I only ended up 5 seconds behind my teammate who started 10 positions higher. I was 3-4 seconds down right away, even by the end of the first lap. So he drops 4 places. I move up 2 places. I only end up 5 seconds behind him. I end up 8 seconds clear of Van Dorn. I mean, that's a relatively good result. I mean, we're talking to my teammate 4 spots ahead, only 5 seconds. Relatively small gap. Decent performance. Now the standings. Here we go. Our mini version. Final standings. Vettel 228, 12 points clear of Lewis Hamilton, the much faster car. Hamilton does hang on, squeaks by 2 points better than Kimi Raikkonen, 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. Bottas a very distant 4th place, and then Verstappen and Ricciardo level on points with 68 apiece. Red Bull well off the pace of the other top 2. Hulkenberg, best of the rest, in 7th. Perez drops to 8th. Leclerc in the Sauber, 9th best. And this is last year's Sauber, not this year's Sauber. That's clearly more of a competitive midfield car. But Leclerc, last season, who pulled off miracles to do what he did in real life, this year in game, 9th place. Solid performance for him. Above the Renault of Sainz. Alonso in 11th in the points. Grosjean, Magnussen, Ocon, and there I am, 15th. 7 points for Williams. The only points that Williams managed to score, as Sorokin has not gone on the scorecard, and Gasly scores points for just the second time this season to go from 1 to 5 for his total, and Van Dorn sits on 6. Ericsson has 3 for the other Sauber. And then Brendan Hartley, besides my teammate, the only one to not score any points this season. In the Constructors, it is Scuderia Ferrari well clear of Mercedes, way ahead of Red Bull in 3rd, and not that far behind in 4th is the Renault. Force India also doing relatively well in 5th. Haas, okay performance for them. McLaren 1 point above Sauber. And then the distance is down to the bottom 2, Williams and Toro Rosso. As good as I made the car, it just doesn't have the power, and so it was difficult. My teammate never scored, and it was definitely difficult for me. But still, it was coming along. If I continued to give it time, the car would be there. In fact, the 4 upgrades that are about to hit the car, well, let's see what that does to where we're at. Right now, the car is supposedly 5th best, but having a decent chassis and having an okay aero package is still not quite enough if you have no engine, if you have no power. McLaren made that case for years and years. They get away from the Honda engine. Well, not years and years, but the last few years.
Well, let's hope for a better
contract
race next
negotiation.
time,
Well, okay, let's push through this real quick here. And 15-15 first, 3-3-1-1.
It's time for us to renegotiate your contract. Here you can see the current deal. Once negotiations begin,
try
the
to
team
keep
will
that
make
the
you an
same.
offer. You can accept if you like, but I strongly suggest we push for better terms. They didn't like those terms.
almost.
Let's try again.
All right.
Okay, that proposal looks good. It seems all parties are happy with the deal, so it'll commence at the next race weekend.
All right. So let's move into that next
We've
race
received
weekend.
invitations to new historic
No,
events.
no,
You'll be able
no.
to choose
I
whether
want to finish by seeing those new parts on the car and see where it puts us in comparison to everyone else. Oh, that next race is Spa, and I'm both sad and happy about not going to that race. If you've ever seen me try to race it,
Okay,
it's a fan
we have the new
favorite.
parts
It's a fan
come through
favorite
from
for
the
me
factory.
as well.
We'll get them on the
But
car ahead of FP1.
going through Eau Rouge in this car is a stinking nightmare. You either lose an absolute ton of pace or crash every other lap. That sudden elevation change, that down, up, and then the little hump right after, it's just ridiculous. This game, and it's so hard to get through Eau Rouge. Qualify 7th or better, 2 weekends, that's going to be difficult. There you go, 4 new parts on the car. And let's see, where does that put? Apparently, Williams now 3rd best, better than Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, overtaking Sauber, Renault, and Red Bull in one race weekend with 4 new parts. That is crazy. But there you go. We jump from... Oh no, we didn't jump Sauber, but we do jump 2 teams of Renault and Red Bull. Yeah, we were 5th best apparently. Like I said, without that engine power, there really wasn't much to it. Looking at the car and kind of where it is now, right? Engine, 2nd to worst, and Toro Rosso way off the pace, Williams well behind. And that's even with a new upgrade. In the aero department, it's now jumped with 2 new upgrades. That's where the real difference is. It's now 2nd best, way behind Ferrari though. Chassis, 2nd best. Guess what? Behind Ferrari. New tire wear upgrade. That's the first chassis upgrade I've done all season. But as we were about to end things, I wanted to get one more in. I don't think we can make our final upgrade here to finish this off. No, not quite. If I did some practice, I could, but nope, not happening. All right. Well, there you go. We did one durability one. The chassis is good with 19 done. Aero is pretty good with now 17 done. Remember, I had 0 aero upgrades at the start of the season, so just in a short period of time, we've done 17 upgrades. The chassis had 18 at the end of the season, just now reaching 19. The powertrain had nothing. It's gotten just its 3rd upgrade this race weekend. That's where it really is lagging behind still, and I was hoping by the end of this season that the powertrain would be catching up, and both the chassis and aero would be really good, and we'd be very competitive, starting to consistently get top 10s, but I'm out of time. So hopefully you enjoyed this series enough with the upcoming F1 2019 that I'll actually get the viewership to push me to do more episodes and spend more time on it. It's the viewership numbers that have really kept me down to where I'm a little past halfway through this 2nd season, consistently near the back of the grid. I mean, we look at it, and I've been 17th or 18th, or even the back 2 positions in every single race. I've been 17th or lower in every race but 2 this season, with a 10th and a 7th. So, not a very good performance streak. Some of that's on the car, some of that's the lack of power, the lack of aero that I had, especially early in the season where it was really hard to drive. It's easier to drive now, but just not quite there. Some of that is definitely on me. I had a fluctuating AI level. Now that I know where I'm at as a driver, next season I'm going to keep that set for a good long while, and I think I might set it at 80 or 85, depending. But I'm definitely far from that perfect driver, but I'm still a relatively new sim racer, and especially new to the wheel, so, you know, I've got to just be who I am and go with what I know and what I can do, and that's where I'm at. Eventually I'll get better, maybe another whole season, F1 2019, a whole year on 80 AI, and maybe I'll, be pretty good by the end of that and win in races. Maybe? Hey, we'll see. But that's going to do it for this episode on Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time, and tune into F1 2019 Career Mode. Williams Road to Glory Racing. That's it. Bye for now.